Assalamualaikum and good evening, maybe to you, Mr. Hakimi.
Okay, good evening.
So, my name is Muhammad Irsyaduddin Zulkifli. I'm a student of Bachelor of English Communication in UNIZA. So, today I would like to thank you for taking your time having an interview session with us. So today, I want to ask you, what's a typical week for you as a public relation practitioner?
For me, basically, the routine would be different on depending on the days, but it will be most of the time as a as the corporate communication personnel at TDM Berhad. One of my main routine will involve me coming into the office, checking whatever coverage we have, whatever interaction we have on our own media meaning our websites, social media, mostly website and social media, as well as our existing comment section, as well as feedback that are coming in via email. So basically, we do have posting. We do put up postings on social media from time to time. So what I would do, not only in the morning, I think most of the time on my phone, would be checking whether we have any form of interaction which requires us responding to it. While on the email, any incoming emails will be whether we should respond to that email or direct it to any other department within the company. After that, we'll be going through whatever list of works that have yet to be completed, whether it is presenting media releases, planning for events, preparing any important documents for any upcoming gathering meetings. As of now, we are a bit packed. We are a bit, I call it swamp, because we are now in Terengganu. I think, as many people know, it is currently monsoon season. So what we're trying to do is to finish off as many events as possible. So I think most of the time we'll be coming in, checking whether or not we are able to organize an event on certain dates, and checking whether the VIPs that we are about to invite is able to attend on that particular date. And as well as, I think by end of the year, many TDM Berhad is actually one of the Berhad company that are registered under the Bursa Malaysia. So one of the requirements that we need to attest to, or we need to comply, is actually to present an annual report to Bursa Malaysia. So by end of the year, what we have to do is actually to engage an agency for us to start to embark on our annual report productions. So I think that would be a typical routine for me on a daily basis, running through all the list of works that we need to complete by end of the week or by end of the month.
Wow, that was so packed. I think, you do a lot of things in the span of 1 week.
Yep. So my team is pretty, what we call it, pretty lean in a way that there used to be only two of us, myself and my superior. Only recently we brought in someone who is assisting us on the creative communications, which involve on graphic designing, video making. So before this, I would be working on the PR portions, managing all our digital collaterals or digital platforms, events, CSR. So it is pretty much many tasks to be completed within a short period of time. So yeah.
That's quite a hectic day, I think, for you.
Hectic, but I think if you're really into PR work or comms work, it is hectic. But at the end of the day, when you finish each task, it is like it gives you a huge sense of satisfaction. Yes.
Wow. Imagine if I'm being put in your place. I think I would like to have another person.
I think you would do great as well. Yeah, but I think it requires practice. But as you progress along the way, it will not be as difficult as you would think it is.
Oh, from managing the social media or social platform of TDM Berhad,
yes,
into planning the events, making reservation, and being in contact with the VIP for another event, to predict, to end the event and make an audit for your planning. Wow, there is so much work. Wow, I'm totally impressed with your work.
Thank you so much.
So, from all those things that you tell me, what project that you had work on that you are so proud of it?
Quite a number, I think. I think being someone who used to work in Klang Valley, you have quite a number of improvements that you would like to impart to the company that you're about to join, because I was in Kuala Lumpur, specifically in Selangor, for about 6 years. So I was with different companies. So when I received the opportunity to return to Terengganu and work with TDM Berhad, I decided to just grab the opportunity and work here. So when I came in, one of the I think there are quite a few responsibilities or roles that were tasked to me for me to complete, and one of it would be revamping our website. So it's not that we did not have a website then. We did have a website, but it wasn't as interactive as it is now. We are also in the midst of improvising it or improving it from time to time, but it wasn't as arranged as now. So I think one of my biggest accomplishment here at TDM Berhad would be revamping the website, putting more thought into mapping, backlinking, so that we are able to stay on top of Google searches. We are able to link audiences, stakeholders, investors, right to the part where they want to actually review our financial performances. We want to review whatever it is that we are currently working on, whatever happenings that are currently being carried out at TDM Berhad. And for this year, we actually received quite a number of feats. We received quite a number of awards, and then I think some of the awards that we have received are majorly contributed by our role at corporate communication department, in terms of how we put ourselves or our brand storytelling out there. So we actually, I know we are about to win another award by end of this month. It will be on our COVID-19 initiatives as well as our animal care support. So all of that are being translated, or all that are being pushed to the public or narrated to the public through the corporate communication team or the PR and media team as well. So those two are two of my, I would say, most proud achievements as of me joining TDM for about 1 year and 2 months, I think. Yeah.
Wow, in the span of 14 months, you have such a very big achievements and a lot of it.
I think this is not by myself alone. Of course, it will not be a good thing for me to just claim the credit by myself. It is done by the team as well as with the help of everyone within the company. And one thing worth to note is that we are also changing the way we put ourselves to the general public. And then I think I would say, as a brand storytelling, how are you going to stand out compared to other companies? So however it is that you're going to curate your brand, it should be genuine, it should be unique, it should be different compared to other people. And then we did that through our social media as well, change how we put up the visual, how we do the copywritings, when are we going to put up celebratory wishes, are we going to involve employee engagement posting, so that we can actually get more public to have that sense of connections, and whether or not they want to actually follow whatever progress that we have so far.
Wow, in a span of 14 months, you are handling a lot of things and achieve a lot of things. Congratulations in advance from us.
Thank you so much.
Because I think, like, from what you said, I can conclude that with who you are working for, I think you guys are the game changer for the TDM Berhad.
I do so. Sorry, go on.
It's okay. Because it's kind of like, because from my own experience and exposure of TDM Berhad itself, I did have a little knowledge of it. But since you came and you and your team have been appointed by the TDM Berhad to do a change to the company, so that people know more about what TDM is all about, from not only being known as a plantation company, but also involved in healthcare, sponsoring sports team, and many other stuff that you are telling me that TDM are going to do. I think it's such an amazing feat for you.
Thank you so much. Okay.
So, what do you do to keep running in the PR industry?
I think there are quite a few things that I actually do on a daily basis, but one of the things that I would do, and I would recommend other PR personnel to do as well, is to actually run through short articles. If let's say you're too busy, short articles on any social media platform, to be honest, but I'm more into looking into articles on LinkedIn, one of the business networking platform. You have a lot of industry players, you have a lot of thought-provoking articles, trends, and then you have a lot of people who are at the top of their games, as well as they are at the top of the industry. You have people coming from Petronas, you have people coming from Petron, Shell, and these people on a daily basis, they would share interesting articles, whether it is on business-related news or as well as com/PR related news. And then that is how I keep up with the current PR trend or current business trend. Because however it is you do your work, whether you're in Terengganu, whether you're in Kuala Lumpur, things generally with communications or business, it is ever evolving. So it is important for you to be able to be on par or be in line with the trend change. And then I think by doing a quick brief run through of all the articles would definitely help you to keep it on track with all those changes, all of those trends thing. Yeah, because I think for many people, they don't have enough time to go into a more intensive training just to cover one trend change. They can probably do it once in a year, twice in a year. Reading short articles, watching short videos would definitely help them to acquire more information about that better, one step at a time.
Oh, so you are exposing yourself with a lot of information to keep up to date on what is happening around you.
Yes.
So, in your opinion, in the PR industry, is writing really necessary?
It is necessary, but I think many people think that PR involves writings a lot, in which, in a way, yes, it involves a lot of writing, but at the same time, it involves a lot more what you call it, transactions as well. So definitely you need to write, you need to have the ability to write, but you also need the ability to build connection, to communicate, as well as to be able to approach people. So one of the writing will be one of the skills, but you also need to have other sets of skills in order for you to be not a well-rounded PR personnel. So writing is something what we call one of the core elements, one of the core skills of PR, but it shouldn't be the major, or we call it, skills. Meaning, if let's say you don't have the writing skills, it doesn't necessarily mean that you cannot become a good PR personnel. So writing, communication skills, building connections, be on par with trend, be able to assess what is crisis communication, be able to decide on what is right to do as a, be the decision maker for the company in terms of how you narrate a brand to the general public. And then narrating a brand is not necessarily you writing, but also you speaking, uttering it in terms of words, you uttering it, you putting out there in terms of like how you manage your events, how you approach medias, how you build connection with other industry players as well. But to sum that, I know it's a bit confusing. Writing is important, but it is not the most important thing for a PR personnel. Mm-hmm.
So it is safe to say that writing is the backbone for the PR personnel practitioner. But
I don't want to say it is a backbone of the PR, because for me personally, again, this is based on my personal opinions. It is not necessarily the backbone of PR, but it is what I call part and parcel, bread and butter of PR. Meaning, if you're able to write, because there are companies there are PR personnel who don't have to write because they already have a good established, they could have connection with medias. So they just come in and then they just, verbally communicate whatever it is that they want to share to the general public. But having the ability to write, write in a good manner, or having the ability to, having the plan in writing would definitely help you a lot. But it is, for me, again, this is my own personal opinion, it is definitely not the backbone, I would say, because there are many more important skills that are needed to to build that base or build that backbone of PR in general?
So it was safe to say that for those that want to pursue to be in the PR industry, that they need to know how they presented themselves
Yes.
by showering themselves with a lot of knowledge,
Yes.
and also writing is just a part of the PR industry and not the backbone of it.
The backbone,
Yes.
and added advantages.
Yeah.
Say,
So, as a PR yourself, what are the 3 tips that you would like to say to people that want to pursue in as the same as your career right now?
PR. I think there are quite a few. I think, but I think when I started my journey in the PR industry or the PR role, I think one of the tips that I would definitely encourage everyone when you join a company as a PR personnel is for you to know the business inside out, for you to know what the business operates on, what products or services it offers, what is your vision, what is your missions, what are your values, what kind of sustainability initiative you stand for. Are you in the B2B business or business to business, or B2C, business to consumers? What kind of corporate social responsibility that you guys do on a yearly basis? Do you have any what we call it? What kind of things that you do that might put you on risk in terms of how you communicate your brand? For example, if I were to do, if my company is to operate on plantation business, what are the risks that will come from managing a plantation business, whether it is related to pollutions. So you really need to look into that, because this information, they would be the backbone or the connecting dots, or they will be connecting the dots they will be connecting the dots of information that you would translate into a lot of writing pieces, whether it is internal collaterals, newsletter, press releases, interviews, videos. So all of this information will be translated into a complete form of PR collaterals, I would say. Number 2 would be knowing your company's style of writing or brand storytelling style, knowing your own style, meaning how you write, how you are going to narrate a brand story, as well as improving it from time to time. So when you join a company, whether you like her or not, company has what they call in-house style. So a lot of times your superior, or if let's say you yourself joins the company as a superior, you would know that different companies or different personnel have different style of how they actually want to put their brand out there. So that is how they're going to stand out compared to other companies. But with that being said, you also need to have the ability to assess the brand storytelling skill sets or the template that you have, whether or not is there any improvement that you can do, whether or not you are able to rope in your own mix of spices or mix of personal style. And of course, from time to time, you need to improve on it, so that improve on it in a sense that whatever it is that you are doing, is it on par, or is it following whatever PR trend that are happening or that is being followed at this point of time. And then I think that comes from reading or comparing your works with other companies. But bear in mind, comparing your work with other companies needs to be done in a open-minded manner, because you don't want to be following other companies. You want to see whether or not you are doing the right thing or not, but not copying what other companies are doing, because sometimes you are doing the right thing and other companies is doing the right thing as well, but it is within their own style, and then you have your own personal style, and then you just need to decide whether or not the style or the approach that you're using is good enough for your company or not. And number 3 would be build connection. I think PR and connection are two important elements that that are essence to the success of brand storytelling or the PR works within the company. Connection in the sense that connection with media partners, business partners, other stakeholders, and these people are going to be the medium of you, you putting a story out there. So it is very important for you to build connection, so that in the future you want that assistance. Sorry, you want that you want that good establishment of relationship to help you in any of your PR works.
So being a PR person itself is not only about making a connection, but you also have to know who yourself in the company itself. Like you say, are you a person that is for the consumers or for the product itself? Wow, that is such a new exposure for me, I guess.
Yeah.
Because from what I understand, a PR person is like you are handling with public only. I did not know that you are going to have to face others people in the company also, and you have to adjust to suit the company style when you are promoting them or being the face of the company. This is a new thing for me.
Yeah, because the thing is, for PR, you do have internal communications and external communications, but for you to be able to efficiently communicate certain things is for you to be able to work together with your own internal stakeholders. Internal stakeholders will be your colleagues, colleagues from other departments, and sometimes being a I think back to my point number one is for you to know your business inside out, and then for you to know your business inside out is for you to work together with your internal stakeholders to really find out, to get in-depth information about the company, about the products, about the services, so that you are able to properly curate a proper writing collaterals that the general public or the mass public can understand properly.
Wow, I think a PR person itself is such a great person because you are trying to communicate and attract people to come to your company, but also you are trying to make them be pleased from what you are presenting to them in terms of how are they going to accept what I am going to present to them, what my company is going to do for them, and what they can benefit from it. And not also from their perspective, but also from the company itself. How am I going to communicate or connect with these people if I cannot manage a good relationship or connection, like you say, with others people? So it is safe to say that technology is really crucial in this industry, right?
I would really agree with that, because as we progress into IoT, Internet of Things, industry 4.0, so technology really plays an important role in terms of how you are going to communicate your brand to the mass public, how you're going to actually connect your audience to whatever it is that you have within the company, especially now with COVID-19. Although that we have finally entered phase 4 of the National Recovery Plan, we still have that gap. We are still not able to do a mass gathering. So how are we going to bridge that gap? How are we going to fill in the blank? How are we still able to connect with our general mass audience without putting them at risk? So having the advancement of technology, having the the improvements of whatever improvement facilities, features on social media as well as other digital platforms really helps our brand to connect as well as to interact, to replace the physical interaction that we had back then, and to still forge that important bond, so that we remain remembered, we remain followed, and we remain we remain something that is sought after by the general public, because definitely you would need people to continue investing in your company. And then if, let's say, you don't have that sense of connection, sense of touch, whether it is physical or digital, and it'll be a bit difficult, I would say.
Because nowadays people are using a lot of technologies in their daily life to connect with people, to gain knowledge. So it is such a shame is TDM company itself doesn't use this kind of advanced, because like you say, you are, as a person, the PR industry itself are like a magnet with the technology, because you need to know what is going on around the world, or especially in Malaysia, in Terengganu. But if you do not have the technology, you kind of stumble upon the road.
Yeah, I mean with TDM, we actually we changed the way we communicate with the mass public quite a lot. To be honest, we digitize a lot of our events as well. We do a lot of online talks, online forums. If you were to browse through our social media, specifically Facebook, you would notice that we have done quite a lot of online talks, bicara syariah, majulan peradaban, as well as other activities in order to keep the company relevant. Of course, business operations are still running as usual. Our estates are still running the operation, following whatever SOPs that have been outlined by the government. All of our private hospitals, are running the operation as well. Of course, following whatever minimal number of inpatient and outpatients, though it is a lot more lenient right now because we are entering phase 4. So in order to keep that interaction going, we are turning to social media as well as other digital platforms to keep the connection or communication interaction going. So yeah, we are also looking into more, tapping into more technological features. But of course, that will be done one step at a time, because I think a lot of people know that we here at Terengganu, we are a bit behind in terms of like what kind of technological aspects that are being integrated into our operations. But of course, with that being said, we are still not so far behind, and then definitely we are working into climbing the stairs of technology one step at a time.
Yeah, I think it's true, because if you take a leap through the technology itself, you will not understand how the technology itself is going to work and put you in favor with the audience that you are going to target for. Yes. So, apart from that, we really want to know, did your education really prepare you in the PR industry? If so, how?
Okay, I think I get asked this question a lot. I went for my alma mater, UiTM Shah Alam, and then some of my juniors, even actually my colleagues did ask me about this. I think there are two sides of coins. One, of course, whatever it is that you're learning, I think it will play a major part or a major role in terms of how successful you are in your works. Number one, of course, if let's say you have the PR background, PR courses, communication courses, writing, whether it is writing, speaking, listening, or reading, that will definitely help prepare you for the corporate world or the working or career world. But at the same time, I would like to also highlight to anyone who are not in the language, linguistic, communication, mass media studies, you can still be successful in PR. You can still have a dream to to becoming a PR person, because whatever it is that you have learned in your university years, it is up to you whether or not how you're going to apply it in the real working life. It is as if when people ask you, if let's say you are learning certain skills at university, whether or not the skill is relevant or the skills are relevant or not in a working industry or in a working career, you learn something. It is up to you to actually apply that skill, integrate that skill into whatever it is that you're doing. So in terms of PR, definitely yes, I would say I did English for Professional Communication at UiTM Shah Alam. That really helped build foundations, a strong foundation to me becoming a PR personnel now. But of course, there are things that I would say that it is up to the person to make use of that skills and then use that or try to integrate that in whatever work that they are doing, be it whether they are doing PR work, business development work, marketing work. So don't put too much thought into that. So whatever it is that you are learning, put your heart and soul into it, because by the time you are working, you'll find a way to actually utilize the skills or utilize the knowledge that you have gained during years of studies. Mm-hmm.
So I think it's like safe to say, right? Whatever things that you are going in your study, it doesn't really matter if you are not on the very communication background, because if you have the communication background, it's going to be an advantage for you in the PR industry. But it is not also a guarantee for you to be success in that industry. So kind of in terms of all the lights that you share to me, I want to know, how do you manage your crisis communication in your PR industry?
Okay, for crisis communications, I think we go about different styles. When I was with my former companies, of course we have different crisis communication frameworks, crisis communication procedures. But here at TDM, we have crisis communication committee. This crisis communication committee consists of members from different departments. There are members from the operation department. Operation would be the departments that is managing the plantation division. We have from integrity, risk management, legal, corporate communication, HR. So each one of these personnel has their own role, has his or her own role in terms of how they are going to play a part in providing information, because for crisis communication, whether you like it or not, you need to be able to address the situation that you're currently facing, providing the answers that the public is craving for. So the reason why we appoint this committee or these members of committee is to be able to communicate the right message, to appoint the right people in presenting that message, as well as building up or preparing a list of preparing a concise and clear message to the general public, so that it will not escalate further. Because however how bad it is, no matter how severe the situation is or the crisis is, you need to be able to provide either a solution, an answer, or a justification, as well as an action. How are you going to rectify the situation? How are you going to solve it? Or what it is out there that you are currently doing in solving that situation. I think one of the most recent case, as you guys can see with Satu recently, I think we had a quite a long water issue with crisis air berangan or berangan water crisis. So I think one of the important lessons learned from that is to be able to tell the general public. It's not about, I mean, definitely the general public would like to know how fast you are able to finish, repairing the damage that the pipe damage that happened then. But at the same time, they need to know what are the actions that are being taken in order to prepare or assist the general public while they are rectifying or getting the work done. So that is where these committees are playing their part, giving the right information, giving the right information to the public that is clear, that is transparent, so that do not have to feel confused whenever crisis happen. Mm-hmm.
Yes, because I think when you face a crisis in your work, I think it's true from what you say. You need to analyze the situation first. You need to know how severe the damage is being done. Mm-hmm. You need to do an analytical sense of how the situation going to affect your company and how you're going to face it and how you're going to present to the affected persons on how you're going to take care of it and what they are going to get from it. I think from the issues that you mentioned, the recent one, yes, from what I heard in the social media, they are keep pressuring your company to know when it's going to be done. Is it going to be happening in the future? And is the person appointed in this kind of case qualified enough? Because the incident happened twice.
Yeah, twice. I think for Satu, it happened twice. The first time it happened at different portion of the pipe, and the second time the second damage happened at the different point or at different parts of the pipe. I think that's the reason why we want to have this number of people who are coming from different departments or different role to be able to communicate the right message. Because if the point of crisis communication or crisis management is to be able to convey a quick information to the mass public, but of course the information that we're giving need to be accurate. So for you to get the accurate information is for you to get the right person, asking the right person and getting the right person to deliver the message, and as well as giving a timely update so that they know the progress of the work or the progress of the crisis. where are we on the right track to getting it done, getting it solved.
For me, I think like in this crisis, I think it's kind of an opportunity rather than what do you say like miss like
Instead of a downfall, I think instead
yeah.
of it is definitely an opportunity.
Yeah, thank you for the word. I don't forget about it. Yeah, I think because like when you are facing such trouble, people are going to see how you're going to react with this, how you're going to tackle this, and the most important thing of all, is it going to be settled as what you are going to say or promise to the targeted audience? And I think TDM did a great job handling these two cases because I think that it does not take a long time, which people estimated that is going to take months.
Oh, sorry, but this one is happening at Satu. So basically, Satu, not TDM. So basically, with Satu, because Satu is actually one of the GLC members under the Terengganu Inc. So what happened then? I mean, with Satu Syarikat Air Satu Terengganu. So Terengganu Inc. being the the what you call it, the one who is overseeing all the GLCs. Satu directly helped. Terengganu Inc. Directly helped Satu with their crisis management. Of course, they do get other members of GLCs, for example, TDM, Golden Faros, to actually jump in or provide suggestions so that they can actually overcome the situation better or in an orderly manner, I would say. So not TDM, sorry.
It's okay because for that issue, we as the public also do not know who is the right person they are going to talk about it, because in our face as the public, when there is a water issue, we're going to ask Satu. Yeah, but in terms of the Terengganu Incorporated Management, they have their own company or what you say department to handle it and taking suggestion from your company also on how to tackle the measure. Alright, so I want to ask you, what do you is your opinion on ethics in PR?
Ethics. Okay. I think ethics is very important in PR, especially if you're representing a company. I think PR can be you can be a PR representing a company. You can be a PR representing your own business. You can be a PR representing your client's company. So when you're representing a company, it is very important for you to be transparent in a way that you are delivering the right information to the mass public, or media. You don't want to be delivering the wrong information. You don't want to be undermining your competitors. Definitely, you have competitors. You have those who are operating within the same industry. We want to highlight whatever services, whatever opportunity that we have, but at the same time, in doing that, we want to give out healthy marketing and not undermining other people as well. So definitely, ethic in PR is very important. It separates you from giving the right news or giving an ethical PR piece of work versus giving a not so ethical kind of work, because again, you are representing your company and you don't want to be perceived as a company who is very cutthroat in terms of like how you're going to promote, narrate your brand as well. So very important to be transparent, to have integrity, and to keep up with a healthy branding as well as PR practices.
I noticed that healthy branding is kind of things that people forgot when they are trying to expose themselves to the public. As we see today in the news, we see a lot of bad branding, bad media image exposure. But I really like how TDM really choose their way in presenting themselves. Like you said, you do a lot of live talks, live sessions in your platforms. I think that's kind of way for people to know more about TDM. And yeah, I think TDM is going to be kind of a major change in the industry of Malaysia. I think it's not only on plantation also. I think healthcare and also organizing is going to be the TDM big play, I guess.
I do also.
Well, having you as the person to work in there, we have high hopes that thing is going to be great for you.
That is one huge responsibility. But I'm really looking towards elevating the way we present ourselves to the world. Definitely.
Because when you are doing something in the public, people will not see your name or what you looks like. People will see what are you going to present to them. They are going to see the brand of it. When you are as a TDM image a person for the PR itself, when you are doing something good, people will be pleased with your company, and you are going to attract more stakeholders. All the sponsorships are going to come in, and you are going to make your company in a better state, rather than when you are going out there trying to be a savage person, right? Wow. Being a PR is also not involved in the internal work but also outside, because you are representing your company, and when you are communicating with others, you are also going to sell your company image. If this person is going to take a light, that's going to give benefits to your company. But if this person is not going to take a light on it, I think there's a room for improvement, right? So in this next question, in your opinion, what is the best theory or model or framework for PR practitioners in Malaysia should hold?
Okay, so when I ran through the question, I really look into this question, because to be honest, based on my personal opinion, I've been in this industry again. This is my 7th year. I don't think that we did have any. Even now we have any PR framework. But I think probably as as I run through whatever PR elements that we have, we don't really have a framework, a solid framework, whether it is, for example, you have a theory or something. We don't have that. Probably that we have already integrate that into our daily practices or daily routines. For example, I don't know whether you guys are familiar with PSO or EXO. This is one of the channels within PR. You have paid, you have earn, you have shared, as well as you have paid, earn, shared, own. But now I think for us here at TDM, we decided to omit out the P, which is paid, because paid is considered under shared. So you have shared media, you have own media, as well as you have earned media. So I don't know whether that is a framework of a PR practices. I don't, and then personally again, there is not much what I call a framework that we generally follow, and then should be followed by everyone within Malaysia, because there's no one size fits all for PRs personally, because it goes back to how your company runs its operations, how you want to put yourself out there, what kind of channels or what kind of medium that you are going to present yourself into, venture into. But for TDM, we are exploring all the available channels. Definitely we have our own channel, which are our websites, our social media, our newsletter, our email blast, and our own, even our very own internal communications. And we are also looking at earned media, whether it is a free coverage from media partners, featured news within magazines, websites, and of course from time to time we do tap into shared media in terms of like partnership with other companies, going for billboard, paying for ad space, as well as going for digital ads as well. So I'm not sure whether it is whether this is a framework, because personally I think when you guys are studying, you guys do learn like theories, frameworks. But again, when you jump into a career world, a corporate world, we don't really have a pre-set or any theory that we really put into our daily routines. Yeah, but it could be because we already utilize the theory within, or integrate the theory within our routines. It could be that way as well.
So for the framework itself is flexible, because you can integrate it with your daily routines, or set by the company itself, the frameworks, and also you can create by yourself based on how the company is going to present it themselves, and how they're going to benefit from it. Wow. I think being a professional PR in personnel is kind of being an intelligent person, I guess, because because I think like every move that you make, you are going to whether bring the company to the next stage, or you are going to just put the company at their old stage, because you told us that TDM is not being known previously, but when you came and you and your team made the change, TDM had an exposure that people nowadays know about it.
No, no, that would be a bit. No, I mean, people did know about TDM then, but of course, we do have this like segment of markets or segment of people or this demographic which do not know about TDM just yet. The reason why, because the team did not fully explore social media, digital platform then. So now I think we are catering to a bigger crowd or a bigger mass public through the utilization of social media as well as other new platforms that we actually venture into or use. So we are elevating ourselves, getting to or reaching out to more people than ever before.
I think by 2022 or 2023, people are going to know what TDM is in general, because we know that it is based on only plantations. But as you say, next year or another 2 or 3 years, people are going to say TDM? TDM is going to do a lot of things, they involve in a lot of things, and people are going to be amazed from just being a plantation company to a healthcare ones, to the sponsorship one. I think that's kind of mesmerizing to see that TDM is growing so much from not going so into details in reaching people using social media or technology itself. Right now, when having a PR person in the company, it is like a game changer. Big applause to you, man. I think you and your team deserve it, because you are being the person or the group that really elevate your company.
Thank you so much.
So for the next question, would you like to say or have a thought on saying that we as students in Bachelor of English Communication have a chance to do in PR industry? Because as you know, because in our course we have the public communication stuff, we have the exposure of the surface on how you're going to handle the company, the CSR. So can you give some advice for people that are really going into it and how they should manage themselves in that?
I think definitely you guys have the opportunity, have the right chance, the right foundation to be a part of the PR industry. Definitely, I think not. You guys definitely, because you guys already have the foundation, the trainings, the basic trainings. I would say the basic knowledge as well. But PR, I think it is open to everyone as well. Whether you did study PR or not, if let's say you have the passions, if let's say you are really interested into PR, you have the right attitude, you have the right learning, you have the right attitude, you want to learn more about PR, because there are people who did study PR but don't have passion into passion for PR, because they say whether you have the acquired skills, whether skills are there to be nurtured, meaning even you are not good at PR, you can learn all the skills or the relevant trends or the relevant practices as you progress along the way. Again, for anyone, for two of you, for your friends, for your circle of connection who are interested to be in PR, just know that PR is not something that is so easy. I think definitely when you are going into a communications kind of role, communication roles, specifically PR, branding and comms, it is not a routine kind of job. There are a lot of blood, sweat and tears, I would say. It's not. People see PR as a glamorous job because you get to work with medias, you get to work with a lot of like VIPs, but there are a lot of plannings, there are a lot of works that go behind the scenes. So you need to have the passions, you need to have the drive to learn, and then you need to have the drive to elevate yourself from time to time. So as long as you have those, the things that I've mentioned earlier, passions, anyone or you can just strive, or you can be a good PR personnel, definitely. So yeah.
Thank you so much for your words and recommendation for us as a student in Bachelor of English Communication. So one last question I would like to ask you.
Okay.
Are you really enjoying your work right now?
Yes, A lot. To be honest, I think just like I mentioned earlier, PR is not everyone's brand. It's not everyone's cup of tea because again, a lot of people want to be in PR or comms, corporate communications, be a PR personnel, be a comms personnel because they see that the company somehow have a glamorous lifestyle. You get to, certain companies, especially where if you go to Clam Valley, you have companies, collaborating with celebrities, important people. When I was with my previous company, SP Setia Berhad, we did a Stand Together Kindness campaign. So I was given the chance to work with a lot of influencers, celebrities. Of course, it looked very glamorous, but of course there are a lot of coordination went behind the scene in making that happen. So with that being said, I really enjoy my work. Again, I take great pride in delivering a good outcome, not only for myself but for the team as well as the company, because when you are doing a PR work where you are the communication personnel, where you are within the, we are talking about, I'm talking about myself within the corporate communication department, and then of course within the corporate communication department you have personnel, or you have people who are working on PR as well as branding. These people is basically the brand guardian of the company, the PR guardian of the company. You are basically carrying the authenticity of the brand to the general public. How the brand is going to be perceived by the public is on you. So if you don't have the passion, if you don't have the ownership over your work, I don't think that your brand will be translated well to the mass public. So I really enjoy my work. I take great ownership over it. So hence the reason why I think no matter how busy I am, no matter how swamped I am, within the week, I would still, go to the office, put up a smile on my face, trying to deliver the best possible outcome as I can, and keep on doing it and elevating it from time to time.
Yeah, it's true to say that when you're doing the job that you love, you will never feel stressed or moody from it. Yeah. So I think that's all from the interview session, I guess. Thank you so much, Mr. Muhammad Hakimi bin Samsudin, for joining us tonight in this interview session. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me as well.
Alright. Okay, so shall we have a drink?
Yeah, you guys want to do something? Go on, my treat. Seriously, go on.
It's okay.
Is it